Sometimes the biggest stories about our past are hidden in the smallest, most ordinary clues. Today, we're diving into one of those clues, evidence of ancient grapes and wine, found in a region that once connected the entire known world. And believe me, it's a story that reveals way more than you could possibly imagine.
Seems like a simple question, doesn't it? But the answer? Well, it's pretty incredible. A single grape seed, a pip, preserved for thousands of years, can actually unlock a society's entire way of life, from how they farmed all the way to how they partied. So that's the central mystery we're going to uncork today.
So let's set the scene. When we think of ancient history, maybe Turkestan isn't the first name that pops into your head, but you gotta picture this place as a bustling, dynamic hub, a meeting point for the Near East, South Asia, and East Asia. It was a literal crossroads where people, goods, and, most importantly, ideas were always on the move. And right there, in this ancient hub, archaeologists found our key piece of evidence: domesticated grapes and the telltale signs of wine production. Now, on a surface, you might think, okay, cool, so they enjoyed a snack and a drink. But this one discovery tells us so much more about who these people really were. To really get why this is a big deal, we have to ask this question first. Because the difference between just picking a wild berry off a vine and actually cultivating a domesticated one, well, that's the difference between simply surviving and actually building a civilization. See, domestication isn't just about planting a seed and hoping for the best. It's a long-term commitment. It means these ancient people were observing, selecting, and nurturing specific vines year after year, generation after generation, to get exactly the kind of grape they wanted. It's a real, active partnership with nature.
And here you can see the crucial difference. On the one hand, you've got wild grapes, the kind of unpredictable and just there. But on the other hand, you have domesticated grapes, the direct result of human intention. Bigger, sweeter, and absolutely perfect for a specific purpose. This wasn't an accident. It was a major, major achievement.
And grapes were just incredibly versatile. I mean, they were a fantastic food source, both fresh and as raisins, which you could store for a long time and even trade. But they had this other, almost magical potential that really set them apart from other crops like wheat or barley. And that potential was, of course, wine. The discovery that grape juice could literally transform into this complex, mind-altering beverage, well, it totally elevated the grape from just simple food to something truly special. It became a source of cultural value, not just nutritional value. Making wine was, in itself, an early form of technology. It required a really clear process. You had to crush the grapes, let the natural yeasts do their thing in a controlled environment, and then learn through trial and error how to store it properly. This wasn't magic, this was applied science, ancient style. And this quote, it just nails the core idea. You can't just wander through a forest and stumble upon a bottle of wine. It required intention, it required knowledge, and it required skill. It really represents that leap from just gathering what nature gives you to actively creating something brand new from it. Okay, so they figured out the technology, but why was it so important? Why do we, thousands of years later, care that they were making wine in ancient Turkestan? Well, the answer is all about what wine came to represent. Wine wasn't just another drink. It got woven into the very fabric of their society. It was front and center at celebrations, in religious rituals. It was a way to show hospitality, a clear symbol of wealth, and a super valuable good to trade. It became a cultural centerpiece, a kind of liquid currency for social bonding, status, and commerce. So, when archaeologists find evidence of viticulture, that's the technical term for grape growing, it's like finding a fingerprint. It's this clear, undeniable marker that tells us we're not looking at a simple, nomadic group anymore, but it's something much, much more developed. And that one fingerprint reveals so much. It tells us these were settled people who plan for the future, because grapevines take years to mature. It shows they had advanced farming skills and an economy that produced way more than just the bare minimum for survival. And that surplus, that meant some people could become artisans, leaders, or priests, the very building blocks of a complex society. And, of course, it confirms they were part of that great crossroads, trading goods and ideas with everyone else. So how can we be so sure about all this? Well, it's all thanks to modern archaeology, which is just amazing. Scientists can analyze the exact shape of ancient seeds to tell if they were wild or domesticated. They can test the gunk on the inside of old pottery jars for the chemical signatures of wine.
It's this fascinating mix of history and hardcore science.
I think the crucial thing to take away from all this is that when we think about ancient progress, our minds usually jump to pyramids or giant walls. But real transformative progress also happened quietly, out in the fields. The patient work of farmers domesticating a plant or perfecting a recipe is just as much a part of building a civilization as any monument.
It really makes you think, doesn't it? If a single type of grape can tell us all of this, what other stories are hiding right there in plain sight? What other everyday items that we totally take for granted are actually the fingerprints of some long-forgotten revolution?